This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. Anyways, here we are back at it again. Today's Monday, August the 9th of 2021. Day 100. No, it is not. I have to get that 100 out of my head right away as we start speaking. Let's see. It is actually day 221 of the year and only 144 days left to go. So there you go. A lot of stuff. Twitch is laggy. We already started off and we already some lag. That's good to know. Anyways, hopefully everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods. I have to say, I've missed y'all. I've missed you. Hopefully you've been off to some grand stuff, doing some cool things and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then, of course, we're hanging out with our friends and our buddies and our colleagues, over there.
Radio.
Yeah, the radio big people have been kind of cool with what we've been doing lately. So how have you been? It seems like it's been a while. I know it hasn't been that long. It's kind of when you come back from vacation, you play that whole key once again of, you play the father portion. And what do I mean by that? You kind of come back, you take a look around of what has changed inside. And of course, things have changed inside in regards inside of this joint and all that kind of fun stuff. But we'll get into that later. So we'll get into some of the stuff that's been happening because that's always fun. We'll talk about my vacation stuff if you care to hear a little bit about that a little bit later. So don't worry. But we are going to talk about what's going on inside of the world of news. We're going to talk about what's going on inside of the world of safety, all that kind of fun stuff, because that's what we always do around here. We kind of always want to let you know what is happening. So don't worry about that. We'll be glad to talk about that. I'm glad to be here. Well, I'm glad you're here too. I'm glad that people are starting to populate inside of the box on the things that are going on. So let's do this real quick, and let's do some information. We'll talk about what was trending over the weekend, and so let's go from here. Favorite R word was trending on Saturday morning, and tweets included racing, redacted, ribeye, RESPECT was another one, redemption, and refer. Those were the things that were part of the things that were actually going and hitting the trend over the weekend. So just in case if you're wondering. Also as well, Sturgis was trending over the weekend as social media users complained about the hundreds of thousands of bikers heading to the annual event in South Dakota. What many failed to address was the lack of issues with the Lollapalooza that took place in last weekend in Chicago. Also, if all men disappeared for a day was trending on Sunday. Tweets included world peace, nature would heal, 98% of toilet seats would stay down, women could find a portion of peace, and China would fall apart. A few Twitter users were offended by the hashtag used to complain. Also, yesterday was International Cat Day. And then hashtag closing ceremonies was trending as fans and athletes bid farewell to the 2020 Summer Olympics that occurred in 2021. And then last but not least, Mike Rowe landed in a Twitter top 10 trending on Saturday after Dirty Job host said that he would not endorse the COVID-19 vaccine and the government needs to stop treating the unvaccinated like the enemy. Rowe is not an anti-vax. He is just simply freedom of choice. So there you go. Those were some things that were actually taking place. I'm sure we can get into a whole slew of things, and we want to talk about that here in just one hot bit. Anyways, let's get you to our friends and our colleagues at Feature Story News, because it's been some time. So let's get that rolling right away, and we'll bring them in. Feature Story News coming up right now. Rated R Safety Show.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Experts are warning the world's set to hit the global warming limit of a 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature rise in the next 20 years. A landmark UN study says humans are unequivocally driving that and describes it as a code red for humanity. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report says heat waves, flooding and droughts will become more frequent and intense. Ho Sung Lee is chair of the IPCC and says the study has clear conclusions.
It is indisputable that human activities are causing climate change and making extreme weather events more frequent and severe. Second, it shows that climate change is affecting every region on our planet. And lastly, it explains that strong, rapid, sustained reductions in carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emissions would be required to limit global warming.
Over 2,000 people have been evacuated from the Greek island of Evia, with more fleeing as wildfires continue to rage. Local officials say some parts of the island have been completely destroyed. The French government's COVID-19 health pass comes into force today in cafes, restaurants, trains, hospitals and care homes. Anyone going into these places will have to provide proof they've either been fully vaccinated, had a recent negative PCR test, or have had COVID-19 recently and fully recovered. Ross Cullen reports from FSN Paris.
This measure has been controversial and has sparked weeks of protest, with 230,000 people demonstrating across France on Saturday. From Monday, it comes into action for many aspects of daily life, especially during this holiday season when millions of people are taking long-haul trains and visiting museums and restaurants. The health pass can be in paper form or via a QR code on your phone with the government's Track and Trace app.
Authorities in northeast Nigeria have reunited a woman with her family 7 years after she was kidnapped by Boko Haram insurgents. She was one of the schoolgirls abducted in Chibok in 2014. Phila Haza reports from FSN Abuja.
A special advisor to the Borno State Governor Issa Gusau says the Governor Babangana Zulum received the Chibok schoolgirl at the government house, Maiduguri, in the presence of her parents who reunited with her. Gusau says the freed woman, Ruth Pogu, and a man claiming to be her husband were found at a location in Bama local government area of the state. Not much details were given as to how they were found, but according to the governor, reuniting with Ruth was a boost to keeping the hopes of parents, other family members, and the Borno state government alive. More than 270 girls were abducted in Chibok, Borno state in 2014. Over 100 of them have since been freed or managed to escape, but the rest are still missing.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. In just 3 months, the eyes of the world will be on Glasgow for the COP26 climate change conference that is due to be attended by scores of world leaders and will have huge influence, setting environmental goals for decades to come. But the man who will be heading the conference, British Cabinet Minister Alok Sharma, has been under fire in recent days for the amount of travel he's engaged in, paving the way for the conference. He's visited at least 30 countries since January, some of them on the UK government's red list, but he's been exempt from COVID-19 quarantine upon his return due to his ministerial status. He's defending his actions, and so is Tom Burke, the chair of climate change think tank E3G and a former government advisor.
The level of diplomacy that we've got to accomplish in order to get agreement that will be useful out of COP is enormous. And that relies fantastically on people trusting each other. And Alok's job is to go around all of the countries that are going to play an important part and make sure that we've heard what's their concern so that he's in a position to map out the sort of ground at which we can struggle for agreement in the end game of this.
In so many ways, the world of diplomacy has been hampered by COVID-19, and of course it remains to be seen precisely what impact the pandemic will yet have on the Glasgow meeting itself. I'm Simon Marks.
And to recap the top stories, a UN climate report's warning of a code red for humanity. Over 2,000 people have been evacuated from the Greek island of Evia as wildfires rage. The French government's COVID-19 health pass has come into force for entry to cafes, restaurants and hospitals. And authorities in northern Nigeria have reunited a woman with her family 7 years after she was kidnapped by Boko Haram insurgents. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved.
You're out and about, and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it. I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited. And that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times, I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go. Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What? Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
A lot of questions coming into the out of the box. Thanks for the questions, comments, and concerns. Where the hell did I go? Nowhere. I kept it Florida light. Anyways, you are listening to the Rated R Safety Show. It is 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are speaking. So here we go. A lot of stuff popping into the box. Good stuff. Thanks. Glad to be back. Yes, I'm glad we're chilling. I don't know who the hell we're trolling. I'm glad your day is complete. The Mike Rowe question. What's up with Mike Rowe? I don't know. It's interesting because it doesn't sound like he's an anti-vaxxer. It just sounds like he's saying, go with whatever the hell you feel that it's right. And, maybe he just wants to, he's looking at it and saying, hey, you be you and go from there. I don't know. I mean, how do you stand with this whole thing? I mean, there's a lot of stuff to continue to talk about. I mean, we can sit around and talk all day and take a look at what's going on. And it's always kind of fun because that's always the interesting part. Because you have to make the decision for you on what you want to do. What's this? Some of the other shows try to be like you while you were gone. Well, that only happened while I was gone. Oh, anyways. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about the Mike Rowe thing, but hey, Mike Rowe's Mike Rowe's. I like independent thinkers. Everybody has to think about what's right for them in their circumstance. I mean, we've talked about this for a long period of time at this point. I feel like we talk about this at least, a couple times a week. You have to do what's right for you. And I mean, we can talk about science and data science and all that kind of fun stuff. And I'm sure we can make this into a whole other show if we wanted to in that particular regards. But let's get into what's important at the moment, because I've been getting in trouble for the last few times that we've been kind of going off on tangents. So we have to make sure that you're out of here as close as 8 to the top of the hour as possible. So I don't want to get you in trouble. You can kind of slide over to my other show if you want to. We can continue the conversation. So let's talk about this real quick. According to the hit list, the surge of COVID-19 cases continues across the country. According to new federal data, there have been over more than 100,000 new cases, with most of them reported in the southern states. While hospitalizations and deaths are also increasing, the number are far from what they were pre-vaccine and peak pandemic. So there you go, some things to think about. So I'm going to tell you right away as we're talking. In the South, of course, some different things are being done for the most part. So I'm not going to complain about what the South is doing. But you have to do what you think is best for you. I mean, it's kind of silly for anybody to tell you otherwise. If you say, hey, this worked for me because this is how I actually think and what works and comes around and all that kind of fun stuff, then you do that. But here's the thing. You also have to look and do some minor level of research by talking to your doctor. Talk to your medical person who's been taking care of you. I wouldn't say ask a brand new doctor. Unless you're in a new area, then that's a different story. But talk to them and say, hey, what's going on? So there you go. So just some things to think about. Anyways, let's talk about Olympic medals final counts. Are you ready for this? United States, 39 gold, 41 silver, 33 bronze, and 113 total medals. China ended up with 38 gold, 32 silver, 18 bronze, and 88 total. Thank you. Thank you for the welcome back. Japan is at 27 gold, 14 silver, 17 bronze, with a total of 58. By the way, before I forget, because I probably should mention this, because I know it gets confusing at times. If you're listening to the radio station, there is a chat box that we use on our streaming services. So that's who I'm normally replying to. You can also, if you want to text in and do some of that stuff, you can do that. That's fine. All you have to do is go to you can actually use the website one if you want to, or you can actually just text 866-930-SFM1. You can text 866-930-SFM1. Type in whatever you want. We'll read it normally online. Talk about some of those things. So I just don't want you to be confused on what's going on, because I know it can get confusing from time to time, depending on where you're hanging out. Anyway, some immigrants crossing the southern borders into New Mexico town are being instructed by smugglers to use Uber or Lyft services when reaching the U.S. Local police told reporters that they are aware of the situation, but do not stop vehicles that pick up passengers along the border unless they were the driver speeding or car carrying more occupants than it's built for. The new entry strategy comes as border crossing continues to surge with more than 188,000 encounters in June alone. Yes. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, happy you are live. So are you happy that I am live, or you are happy that I am alive? I mean, so many questions to be asked there. As we are talking. Anyways, lions killed 3 children who were searching for their lost cattle in a forest of Africa in a conservation area. The children that were between the ages of 9 and 11 were about the Maasai tribe, who has been special permission to live within the wildlife preserve located in Tanzania. The lions has been living in the conservation for 3 years, but will now be relocated according to the citizens. So there you go. Some interesting stuff going on right there for sure. Some other stuff going on inside of the world of the news. Nurses are not the only ones walking off the job after being forced to get a COVID-19 vaccine. A San Francisco union representative, local sheriff deputies sent out a warning that officers will quit or retire if they are forced to get the vaccine. Approximately 160 out of 700 deputy sheriffs that are not vaccinated prefer to mask and test weekly instead of being vaccinated due to religious and other beliefs, to Post states. Hold on. Hold the phone. Religious beliefs? Can someone explain that one to me? What religious beliefs are the vaccine related to? The union also added that the city could not afford for the loss of deputies if this happens. And let's see, if this happens, and the public safety will be negatively affected. So there you go. Let's take a look at this. Welcome back. Thank you, Mr. Posel. It hasn't been the same without you. Oh, that's nice. Take care. I guess that means you're out. And what else do we got here? The king has returned. Oh, that's very sweet. I would like to know who the king is, but that's great. Nice little picture gimmick there. So I don't know. Someone tell me about these religious belief things about the vaccine. And here's where it's getting kind of weird again. And I know that I swear that we spend most of our time talking about COVID. So can someone explain this to me? Because I'm kind of confused. Because I don't get it. What does religion have to do with the vaccine? Is this what they're talking about? People being implanted? Is this where the chip implantation is going into? You are the king of all safety media. Oh, look at that. That's kind of cute. I appreciate that. So, I mean, just some fun stuff there. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I'm so confused by what that means, but somebody probably will be able to explain that to me, if not later today at some point. That's for sure. So let's continue talking. The University of Wisconsin-Madison removed a boulder from its campus on Friday after a black student union objected to the description of the rock that was used nearly 100 years ago. Chamberlain Rock is named after a 19th century I missed my button. Geologist and former university president Thomas Chowder Chamberlain. Chamberlain himself is not the issue. The controversy stems from the Wisconsin State Journal article published in 1925 that used a slang term to describe the dark rocks that included the N-word in its coverage in the rock installation on Observatory Hill. Another issue arose when the Ku Klux Klan was active on campus at the time of the rock dedication, though it is unclear that it had anything to do with one another. A campus representative called the rock removal a small step towards to be inclusive at the school. So there you go. Here we go. Some Christian, thank you, Posel, for this one. Some Christian religious people do not support the vaccination because they are made or tested with fetal stem cells. There you go. Okay, but hold on. So is it related to that they're back? Like, hold on. Are they back related by fetal stem cells of children that were already dead? Or is it fetal stem cells that are children that they did on purpose at the time? Amazing plays you do making me happy over here. Amazing plays of what? Of the duh button?
Duh.
So there you go. What is up with the KOASM thing today? I appreciate it. I'm very nice, very nice. But it's interesting. It's amazing on how this works. I have a low IQ, LFM. Oh, that's funny. I think you're part of my club there, buddy. Thank you for that for Handy and the Chad. I guess that's what it is. I always have hard times with reading those usernames. Yeah, I'm sure we could talk about all kinds of weird stuff. Good morning, Eliza. How are you? Welcome to the box. Anyway, so let's continue talking a little bit more about this. Hundreds of thousands of bikers descended on South Dakota for the annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. The rally kicked off Friday and will last 10 days with more than 700,000 people expected to attend. The event was widely criticized as a super spreader event. Last year, when about 450,000 people attended, the governor, Kristi Noem, said that there were only 124 cases linked to the rally. So there you go. I mean, I think it's kind of weird. I mean, of course people are going to go out and try to do their thing. They're going to try to do their gimmick. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're going to try to go out and about. There's been people locked up for a long period of time. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with it. But you're going to start looking at a lot of these things as some potential spreaders. I mean, let's just be realistic. But people are going to get to the point that are going to be like, when is enough enough? It's just going to be what happens. I mean, let's just not lie here. I mean, I'm already taking a look around where people are complaining about, hey, I've already been locked up for X amount of time, and now you're turning around and trying to tell me some other gig in regards of what's happening. I mean, and I get it. Let me pull something up real quick because I want to make sure that I take a read to this. Maybe we'll talk about some of the COVID outbreaks tied to musical festivals. Matter of fact, let me just read it right now. COVID outbreaks are tied to musical festivals, raise outdoor transmission concerns. Health officials investigating COVID-19 outbreaks tied to two recent outdoor musical festivals in Michigan and Oregon, raising new concerns about new safety of events that are tightly packed crowds, even outside, as live music surges back and transmissible Delta variant spread. Officials in Michigan say that at least 83 cases can be traced to Faster Horses Festival, which took place back in Brooklyn, Michigan from July the 16th to July the 18th, while authorities in Oregon are looking into 62 cases tied to a July the 10th event that happened at Pendleton Whiskey Music Festival in Pendleton, Oregon. In Michigan, one person considered secondary case infected by someone who had contacted COVID at Faster Horses is hospitalized. Neither event required attendees to be vaccinated. These events are the warning shot across the bow, says Dr. Emily Landon, Executive Medical Director for Infection and Control at the University of Chicago Medical Center. You think she could fit that all on one card? I'm just asking. She also points out numerous cases reported in July at the Vector Festival in the Netherlands, which was also held outdoors. I think we're finding that it does matter what you do outdoors, Landon adds. And even though the people are vaccinated, it looks like many will need to be careful with the super crowded events. So it's going to be an ongoing thing, for sure. So that's the thing to think about. Because the thing here is that when we are talking about this, one of the emotes is gone. Yeah, I think that my emotes for being, number one at E, I think those are gone, but thanks for asking. I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about variants and all this other fun stuff. But this is stuff that we have to start talking about, because let's just be realistic. If depending on where you hang, and if you're hanging out with me here, you more than likely are tied into some level of safety of somewhere. And what's going on right now is the Delta variant saying now that it takes seconds for it to start spreading. So the thing has to come about, is the risk worth it? And I mean, some people are looking at this as freedom. Some people are looking at this as this is the thing that you're trying to hold me back if you don't allow me to go outside and all that other fun stuff. But like I've said from the very beginning, you have to do what you think is best for you. You have to do what's going to be in your best interest. what is in the best interest of the people around you. But now here's some other things we have to start thinking about right away. If the Delta variant can spread so quickly and it's easy for the things to occur, how are we taking a look at our workplaces? Because that's the thing. Because we are still having people show up and hanging out. And so what are we doing with mask mandates? And maybe that's the portion we should start talking about right now. Because I wanted to talk about this. This is something that came up while I was gone. And I knew for sure that at some point when I got back here, we were going to talk about this. We were going to do la conversación about this thing. So maybe we should talk about this now. Do we call it a main story? I don't know. Let's call it a main story for the sake of doing it, because that will be the only reason that I'm calling it a main story, because I don't have any other rhyme or reason of doing so, because that's for sure. Anyways, it is 31 minutes past the top of the hour, just in case if you were wondering what the hell's going on. And I'm still trying to remember where all my buttons are located. That's another port for sure.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. So as you know, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of questions coming about, a lot of things going inside of the sequence. But let's not kind of be naive to some of these things that are going on. So let's talk about this real quick. A lot of people are not going to love this, but we need to talk about it. So businesses can, C-A-N, mandate COVID vaccinations. Safety News Alert just wanted to share this with you. Private businesses and public agencies cannot be barred by federal law from mandating COVID-19 vaccinations, according to the U.S. Department of Justice. That's the DOJ. That's the DOJ right there, just in case if you were wondering. This is an option issued on July the 26th, but dated July the 6th by the DOJ of legal counsel, which came just hours as the Department of Veteran Affairs mandated a required vaccination for certain employees. Emergency use authorization. The Department of Veteran Affairs is the first federal agency to issue such a mandate, according to Politico. The order gives physicians, dentists, nurses, and other frontline medical staff 8 weeks to get fully vaccinated. This is not a joke, by the way. The DOJ opinion clarifies that business and public agencies aren't prohibited from requiring the vaccine under emergency use authorization contained in the Food and Drug and Cosmetic Act. Guidance from Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, that was issued in April also states that employees can require vaccination for all employees who must physically enter the workplace. Despite the EEOC guidance in April, the commission didn't answer questions surrounding potential legal issues of COVID-19 vaccines that didn't have full FDA approval, which kept many businesses from mandating the shots, Political states. So there you go. What do you think? What do you think about that? So do you want to? I'll give you a little more here. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting when it comes to that. Because here's what's going to take place now. If you are in a place of business that turns around and says, hey, you have to be vaccinated, now what happens? What becomes the gimmick now? What will you end up doing? Will you do it? Will you not do it? I mean, it's a lot of questions that are going to come up. And how do you look at your workplace now if that question comes about or that comment comes about? Let's say you're not vaccinated and they tell you need to be vaccinated. Are you going to do it? I mean, we were just talking about some religious beliefs there for a moment. So what happens now? Now listen to this one. Listen to this other side. New York City, California NFL issued mandates. Are you ready for this? New York City, the state of California and the National Football League recently instituted vaccine mandates. Mayor Bill de Blasio announced July the 26th the New York City municipality employee will either have to be vaccinated or undergo weekly COVID-19 tests. On the same day, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced that all state employees and healthcare workers must either be vaccinated or subject to regular corona testing. The NFL told its team that the outbreak among the unvaccinated players could result in forced forfeit of games and place a multi-million-dollar financial incentive on teams and players to be vaccinated. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. And what do you think about all this? I mean, when you start thinking about this and you go, okay, what the hell's going on? Do you think that this is the right thing? I mean, I'm asking you the question because you're going to know way better than I ever will. When it comes to workplaces, should this be something that's mandated? It's kind of a simple question on how you take a look at it. I mean, I don't know. I think that you should have the freedom of choice as we talk about it. I mean, we're going to always talk about this. It seems like it's going to be something ongoing for quite some period of time. And I think that it's kind of funny on how this could become a cutoff conversation. You know what I'm saying when I mean cutoff conversation? Where this is the end all. If I say you should be vaccinated, boom. If I say you shouldn't be vaccinated, boom. And people just end conversations. I mean, it's like ending friendships online, ending friendships in person because of this conversation alone. I don't know if it's that hard line, if it's a hard line. So let's just use a hypothetical. Let's say, for instance, you believe that people should be vaccinated. I believe people shouldn't be vaccinated, using that as an example. And all of a sudden, we're only friends online. We haven't seen each other for years because of everything that's going on. Should we stop being friends because we don't agree on that? You're online, I'm online, we haven't seen each other for years? I don't know. It becomes a kind of a weird conversation. And hey, listen, I understand what I do in regards to the work that I do here. And a lot of it's virtual. And I like it that way. Makes life a little bit easier from time to time. But should it be, hey, we can no longer talk because you believe in vaccination and I don't, or vice versa? It's kind of a weird thing. But anyways, with this thing going into what the Department of Justice is now saying, it's going to get interesting around here relatively quick when it comes about to that. Think about that for a moment. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the law site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Here for me, that's nice. Good to know. Okay, here you go. Tough road ahead. Larry Poppins. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So there you go. A lot of fun stuff going on right away. I always feel like I'm behind the gun here in regards of running behind. And this is day one back. There you go. Anyways, 42 minutes past the top of the hour. This is your show. I can't run behind on your show. You know why? Because it's your show. So if I go into some tangent because of where you're going with this, that's what happens. If I was just talking to myself the whole time, well, then it becomes a different story. Dance party continues. Anyways, let's get this down and let's get moving and grooving real quick. Anyways, let me tell you some stories real quick. A contractor hired by the city of St. Petersburg, Florida, discovered 3 possible graves under a pair of parking lots adjacent to the Tropicana Field, the home of the Tampa Bay Rays. They used to be the Devil Rays. What the freak happened to the rest of the name? The lots were built by the former site Oakland Cemetery, which housed the remains of black people and white people in segregated sections. The city, which is looking into the redevelopment of the area, hired the contractor company to search for potential grave sites using the underground penetrating radar work. Other areas of interest were found nearby lots, which were also built on the sites of 2 other cemeteries. All 3 cemeteries were closed, and hundreds of bodies were exhumed and rehomed elsewhere over 3 decades ago. This is going to be this has been a long concern of local residents that some graves were missed. So there you go. Yeah, I agree with you. That is not funny. I am not saying it's funny. We are just talking about it. So thank you. Thank you for talking about it. So let's talk about this. Listen to this one. A lot of people moving to Texas, take a listen to this. A venomous Western African banded cobra is on the loose in Texas neighborhood. According to the officials, the snake, which was being kept, is illegally escaped from a home in Grand Prairie, which is right on the outskirts of Dallas-Fort Worth. The snake owner reported the missing as soon as it realized that it escaped. The owner and the city animal services spent the past week searching for the dangerous reptile. We don't know if the snake is long gone or if the snake is still in the house. But we're going to be able, we're going to see if we can locate it. Grand Prairie Police spokesperson told CNN. The West African branded cobra is considered one of the most venomous snakes in the world. How great is that? Anyways, let's continue talking. A 12-year-old in New York, Jersey. Listen to me. New York, Jersey. In New Jersey is the world's youngest chess grandmaster. The 12-year-old broke the world record on June the 30th when he won the first place during a 10-round Swiss chess tournament in Budapest, Hungary. Mishra defeated Grandmaster Leon Luke 15 of India. Previously, the world record was held by Russian chess player Sergei Karaskhan, who became a grandmaster in 2003 at the age of 12 and 7 months. So there you go. I'm happy to watch and chill. Okay, well, you chill, and can I watch too? That's the other question. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other stuff going on real quick. So it's been some time. It's been some time since we've hung, so maybe it's time real quick. Let's have Johnny Smalls come in real quick and talk about the market beat and what happened on Friday. So take a listen to this.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, August 9th, 2021. Investors got the strong jobs report they wanted Friday, but the equity markets did not respond as forcefully as investors may have expected. However, the Dow and the S&P 500 still closed at record highs, but the Nasdaq, which includes many of the biggest tech stocks, closed in the red. Gold and oil were also down for the day, and the yield on the 10-year Treasury note rose to close higher for the first time in 5 weeks. The U.S. Labor Department reported that the economy added a net 943,000 jobs in July. That was nearly 100,000 higher than the initial estimate. Other report highlights include a lowering of the unemployment rate to 5.4% and an upward revision to the initial disappointing June number. This week will bring further debate as analysts are split on how the Federal Reserve will interpret this strong jobs number. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Hold on, what the hell was that? Can you not start the stream? Is the stream not going? Will you go longer today, please? So is it not starting, or do you want me to go longer? Which is it? How do you like your tacos? How do I like my tacos? That's a great question. I like that one. Really not on the subject that we're talking about, but if we're talking about tacos, crunchy, brie cheese, grapes, carne asada. Try it that fashion. It's a good little taco there. There you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things real quick going on inside of the world. And to answer your question, if I go long, I will probably get shot by the people at Radio Big. So let me not do that today. Probably not a good idea, but thanks for the question. Really do appreciate it. Let's get into some news of the weird real quick because we need to talk about this. What is this? What is this? What is this? I feel like when I run behind, we're running behind all the time here. So let's do this. So, do we want to talk about the swamp? Let's talk about the swamp real quick. So let's take a listen. Lefties is terrified of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Last week, White House picked a fight with DeSantis over his leadership on COVID, telling him to get out of the way of their efforts to keep everyone masked indefinitely as the Delta variant spreads. In response, DeSantis told President Joe Biden that his team to pound sand and fix the problem at the border. There are thousands of illegal immigrants that enter every week with COVID. And then there are busts across the country. Then a reporter asked Biden his take on DeSantis' defiance, to which the president cheekily responded, "Governor who?" To which DeSantis replied the next day, "I guess I'm not surprised that Biden doesn't remember me." I guess the question is, what else has he forgotten? DeSantis went through a laundry list of policies, issues that Biden failed at miserably within the first few months of his term, like the border, inflation, supporting Cuban freedom fighters, and the Constitution itself in regards of the CDC moratorium. So let's take a listen to this real quick. Let me make sure that I can get the sound in here. And this is DeSantis. Take a listen.
Do you have a comment about the comment that President Biden made recently?
Well, I guess I'm not surprised that Biden doesn't remember me. I guess the question is what else has he forgotten? Biden's forgotten about the crisis at our southern border, I can tell you that. Biden has forgotten about the inflation that's biting the budgets of families all throughout our country. Biden has forgotten about the demonstrators who are fighting for freedom down in Cuba. And Biden's even forgotten about the Constitution itself, as we saw with what he did with this moratorium. And I can just tell you, I'm the governor who protects parents in their ability to make the right choices for their kids' education. I'm the governor who protects the jobs and education and businesses in Florida by not letting the federal government lock us down. I'm the governor who answers to the people of Florida, not to bureaucrats. Democrats in Washington.
So there you go. You know, it seems like our show just became political. So there you go. That's the information coming from DeSantis, just in case you're interested in what's going on. Anyways, no winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday's drawing will be for $208 million jackpot or $150.2 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Wednesday's drawing will be for $241 million jackpot or $175 million cash payout. So there you go. Anyways, let me tell you about the movies inside of the box office in case you care about that. At number 5, Stillwater stayed at number 5. At number 4, Black Widow at $4 million. Number 3, Old at $4.1 million. The Jungle Cruise made $15.6 million at number 2 spot. And The Suicide Squad, which I still have not watched, which I probably should at some point. $26.5 million. Now, I think it's kind of funny that the first one was called Suicide Squad, and now the sequel is called The Suicide Squad. You know, definitely keeping it separate there for sure. Anyways, let's continue talking real quick about some other things going on inside of the world. Let's take a look around. Take a look around real quick. And let's talk about some things that happened back on this day. Let's go into where have you been? Where have I been? I've been gone. I've been gone on vacay. Staycay, really. He is all right. Which one's all right? Who, me? Am I all right? Or are we talking about DeSantis still? I don't know. So let's talk about what happened back in 2020. Brazil reports 100,000 COVID deaths, the world's second highest, and more than 3 million recorded cases. Let's talk about some birthdays today. Rydell Lynch turns 28. Alexa Bliss, or Lexi Kaufman, turns 30 today. Aldeline Kane turns 31. Bill Kradatsky turns 31. Anna Kendrick, 36. Dan Levy, 38. Ashley Johnson, 38. Jessica Capshaw, 45. Kevin McKidd, 48. Chris Cuomo, 51. Gillian Anderson, 53. Deion Sanders, 54. Michael Kors, 62. And Sam Elliott turned 77 today. So there's some birthdays for you. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate today, I got some reasons for you. National Rice Pudding Day, National Veep Day, and National Book Lovers Day. So just in case if you're looking for a book that you love, maybe today's the day to actually take a look and take a read of it. So there you go. Anyways, let me bring John Smalls real quick back in and let him talk about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Monty. This quote is from the book The Secret. I have found that if you love life, life will love you back. I like that quote. I've heard good things about that book. I even have it, but I have not taken the time to read it. I used to read a few books every month, then I got a smartphone. I should probably go back to reading the books. As for the quote, I do love life. And you know what? Life has loved me in return. Now, I'm not wealthy, I'm not famous, I'm not really even successful in the eyes of the world, but I am happy. I love where I am and what I do. I love my family and my friends, and guess what? I love life itself. What more could you ask for? This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Johnny Smalls can be heard in the afternoon on RadioBig.fm, just in case. John and Heidi Show, just in case if you want to take a listen to what he has going on. Very motivational for sure. Anyways, let me tell you some other things before we get you out. 53 minutes past the top of the hour. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. If you want to know more information, you can go to American Foundation for Suicide Prevention or AFSP.org. That's AFSP.org. Or you can call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255 or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. Keep in mind about this. I mean, it's always important to talk about. It shouldn't be just one of those things that, let's just have something to talk about. It's something that should be talked about all the time because it's important. Anyways, let's talk about some whack facts real quick. A human head can remain conscious for 15 to 20 seconds after decapitated. I don't know if I really wanted to know that. Researchers in the field of interruption science have found that it takes an average of 25 minutes to recover from a phone call. 25 minutes to recover from a phone call. So don't call me with something stupid. A manhole covers are around so that they can't fall into the covering. So there you go. Google handles over 2 trillion searches per year. That's about 270 searches per person on Earth. In Asia and England, a black cat is considered lucky. In Uruguay, intoxication is legal excuse for having an accident while driving. What? Oh, the world of the strange continues to go. So today's scoop of BS, if you want it real quick. The Tokyo Olympics wrapped up yesterday with closing ceremonies. I just couldn't seem to get into it unless they go back to the original idea of all athletes competing naked. I'm just not interested. A Florida couple were arrested for assaulting each other with spaghetti. Makes sense. Word is their relationships was all strained. According to some scientists, nearly 40% of people have some type of parasite living in their brain. So that many of us that have a Taylor Swift song stuck in their head, well, there you go. Now you know what the parasite is. Happy birthday to U2, The Edge. He celebrated his 60th birthday yesterday by spending time with his brothers, The Fringe, and The Brink. Researchers tracking monkeys in Africa actually claim that they boast about their sexual exploits. The monkeys, that is. Shockingly, researchers tracking monkey sex don't get laid that much. Think about that for a moment, and it will all make sense.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Yep, definitely still listening to the Rated R Safety Show. So just in case, a couple things real quick. You complete me. Really? I complete you? How loving is that? So a couple things real quick before we get to what a lot of love. You complete me. Love watching you. A lot of love in the box this morning. So a lot of things real quick before we get too far. Jay Allen show, not this one coming up tomorrow, but from a week from tomorrow, we're going to be doing the Ask Me Anything segment. So you can turn in your questions by going to safetyfm.com. and actually going into the little message box at the very bottom and type in whatever you got. And we will go ahead and answer those questions online. So ask me anything. You can go to the website, safetyfm.com, fill that in. We'll get that episode up and going, like I said, a week from Tuesday. So just in case if you're interested in doing that. So let's continue talking real quick before we get you out of here. So if you need a random joke for today, here you go. On weekends, my coffee is recreational as opposed to Mondays when it's medicinal. So just think about that. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the weird smell that you actually enjoy? Come on, tell me what it is. So think about this one real quick. Here you go. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. 12% of people say this smells makes them happy. What is it? Clean sheets. Clean sheets make some people happy. Huh? So I guess hanging out at hotels might make you happy then if you're kind of just don't smell the comforter, because that can become a whole other conversation.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
So don't forget to come back tomorrow, hang out if you want to hang out on the Rated R Safety Show. We're going to talk about some super spreader events coming up relatively quick. We'll talk about some other things coming up inside of the world. Also, we'll be going over right now to radiobig.fm if you want to come out and hang out this morning. That is radiobig.fm. That's where we're going to go hang here over the next little bit. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on radiobig.fm and on safetyfm.com. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. On Safety FM, we cannot do what we do without you. The most important part of Safety FM, the listener. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. The best views come after the hardest climb. Think about that and how you can apply it to your life every day. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you. Mean it. Goodbye. Come and hang out with me on radiobig.fm. I'm sure I got some more stuff to spill over there.
Duh.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.